Welcome back to the deep dive. If you are an Aries or an Aries rising, get ready. You are stepping into what looks like one of the most transformative months of 2025.
Mm.
October is not going to be passive. It's intensive, it's spiritual, and honestly, you are probably going to feel like the absolute main character in your own story right now.
That's absolutely right. And our mission today really is to take this deep, kind of complex astrological forecast and, distill it down into clear, actionable insights for you.
Okay.
The energies are really defined by two massive factors. Mars, which is your ruling planet, spends the entire month submerged in Scorpio, your eighth house of intensity. And then
A whole month.
the whole month. And then we have that powerful full moon landing directly in Aries.
Lighting your sign. So what does all this concentrated energy actually mean for you listening?
Well, it means we've got the strategic shortcut, let's say, to navigate these deep shifts. Things concerning shared finances, your intimacy, your entire sense of self, really.
Finding empowerment through transformation, not just feeling overwhelmed by it all.
Exactly. It's about empowerment. Okay, so let's start by exploring the engine that's driving all this change.
We really have to start with Mars and Scorpio, don't we? Anchored in your eighth house for the entire month.
Mm.
This isn't surface level stuff, is it? It feels like deep sea diving into emotional and financial depths.
It really is. The eighth house governs these profound, often kind of hidden themes. Shared resources, deep emotional intimacy, psychological transformation, secrets.
Yeah.
The intense stuff.
Love
So
it.
when your ruling planet, Mars, the planet of action and drive, activates this space, your intensity just skyrockets. You're driven to uncover truths, to engage in passionate, really authentic connections.
And I see a huge focus here on joint resources. This sounds like where the practical side meets the intensity.
Precisely. This month really demands careful management of any shared assets. So think about taxes, maybe business budgeting with a partner, inheritances, child support, spousal support, that whole area. There is real potential for financial gains, especially those connected to partnerships. But, Mars is a warrior, so he can bring conflict too, expose power dynamics if boundaries aren't clear.
Okay. So the key then to leveraging this powerful energy is more like strategic confrontation, not just like blind aggression. If you find yourself in a conflict, financially or emotionally, how do you channel Mars successfully here?
You need to be investigative, not impulsive. That's the key. The empowerment comes from facing those hidden fears head on, whether it's financial dependency or maybe vulnerability and intimacy.
Right.
Your caution really needs to be around control, jealousy, power struggles. So maybe our first strategic rule for October should be review. Don't react. Use that Martian drive to create smart financial plans, not just start unnecessary fights.
Review, don't react.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so with the Mars setting that intense tone, we immediately run into a bit of friction at the start of the month. Something about home and partnerships.
Yeah. On October 1st, we see some relationship tension. Communication, which is in your seventh house of partnerships, gets challenged by expansion happening at home in your fourth house. It's subtle, but it can be demanding. The biggest risk here is making sort of over-optimistic promises to a partner or maybe a client that could actually destabilize your family or your home foundation down the line.
Okay, so we need balanced dialogue. Absolute clarity when discussing future plans that involve both partners and family.
Yeah,
Don't promise the moon if you haven't actually checked the budget or the feasibility.
exactly. Then, just a few days later, by October 4th, we get a moment of, let's call it cosmic cleansing. Venus conjuncts the South Node in Virgo in your sixth house.
Okay, cleansing how?
Well, this transit encourages you to release old patterns related to wellness and service. The universe is kind of asking you to detox from draining routines, let go of perfectionism in how you approach your job or your self-care. It's really about setting healthier boundaries.
This feels like it connects back to some healing themes from earlier in the year, actually.
Yeah.
Are we looking just at personal wellness, or could this affect partners too?
It's potentially both. Definitely focus on radical self-care for yourself, but maybe keep a gentle eye on your partners. They might experience some health issues or maybe just burn out around this date.
Good to know. Okay, let's focus on a really key date, October 6th. This looks like a significant shift because investigative Mercury moves into intense Scorpio,
All right.
joining Mars in your eighth house, and it immediately squares deep-digging Pluto. Wow.
Yeah, your investigative mind just snaps into focus immediately. This is actually excellent energy for deep dives into mysteries, shared finances, or engaging in those intense, intimate conversations. Think therapy sessions or serious talks about joint assets.
Okay.
However, because we are dealing with Pluto, There's also a tendency toward secretive communication or maybe letting your mind spin into suspicion or paranoia.
Right. So use the sharp mental energy for breakthrough and strategic planning about those shared assets, but actively stop that sharp mind from just tipping over into paranoia.
That's the challenge, exactly. This high-pressure energy can lead to intense debates about financial stuff, maybe online arguments too. But if you channel it right, it offers profound personal breakthroughs about a financial reality, or maybe a deep psychological issue.
Okay.
And while we're talking about Mercury, it's important to note it's entering its pre-shadow phase right around now.
Ah, okay, that's critical for planning. What does Mercury's pre-shadow mean for Aries this month, practically speaking?
It means the issues, the confusions, or maybe the logistical headaches we see popping up now, especially concerning documents, travel, insurance, vehicles. Those are the very things we need to strategically fix before the actual Mercury retrograde kicks in next month in November.
Got it. Plan ahead now. Save yourself the headache later.
Precisely.
And speaking of strategic moments, that same day, the 6th, brings us to what sounds like the absolute climax of the month, the full moon in Aries. This event illuminates your first house of self and identity. It really confirms that feeling of being the star of the show.
It's a truly powerful emotional culmination. Think of it like a harvest moment. It lights up personal projects or intentions that you probably initiated way back during the spring solar eclipse. The fruit of that earlier energy.
Yeah.
It's ready now.
Okay. A harvest. How might this manifest differently depending on whether someone's an Aries sun, moon, or rising?
Good question. So if you're an Aries sun, this often translates to breakthroughs in your career or maybe just a huge boost to your feeling of independence. Aries moon people tend to feel this intensity most around home, family, deep emotional security. And for Aries risings, you might experience some really crucial closure around long-standing family or relationship dynamics.
So regardless of the specific placement, it's an undeniable emotional peak. It sounds like it demands a renewed sense of confidence, maybe reevaluating your self-image, letting go of old ways of seeing yourself.
It's genuinely a turning point, especially because this full moon opposes the sun, which is in Libra at the time, forcing clarity around relationships.
Right.
And interestingly, for those tracking personal life changes, the forecast specifically notes the possibility of pregnancy for some Aries natives during this profound culmination period. So something to be aware of.
Wow. Okay. Moving into mid-month then, let's look at how this relational juggling act continues. Around October 11th, we see a challenge brewing. Something about work and health meeting hidden limitations.
Yeah, Venus in your 6th house opposes Saturn in your 12th. This sets up a situation where you might feel a bit restricted in your daily routines, maybe frustrated in work relationships. This opposition asks you to examine those hidden self-undoing behaviors. You might feel burnout or find it hard to express affection for colleagues, for instance.
Okay, so the guidance here is really about discipline, setting realistic boundaries,
Right.
especially to combat that potential burnout.
Absolutely. Use this time for reflection. Build sustainable routines, particularly around self-care and health. And prioritize healthy, disciplined relationships in your daily life and work.
But thankfully, it sounds like the atmosphere lifts quite a bit around the 13th. A major relational reset happens when Venus glides into Libra, your 7th house. That sounds like fantastic news for partnership.
Oh, Venus loves being here. This is a massive boost for romance, committed business partnerships, client relations, socializing. It's all favored. Your partners might seem sweeter, more generous. And if you're single, this is prime time for attracting meaningful connections.
Okay, that's great. But what's fascinating is that Venus immediately opposes Neptune, which is still in Aries for a bit. That sounds like a bit of a contradiction.
It definitely introduces nuance. That opposition can bring relationship idealization, seeing someone new through rose-colored glasses, or for you personally, maybe a sudden need for personal space, a feeling of uncertainty, even when facing a genuinely sweet partner. But we also get this gorgeous balancing act with a trine to Uranus in Gemini. Ah, okay. And that trine suggests love or connection through sudden, unexpected sources, right? Like out of the blue.
Yes. Think chance meetings during travel, surprising online connections maybe, social gatherings turning romantic, or even that delightful scenario where friends suddenly evolve into lovers. The key is to foster balanced relationships and try to avoid self-isolation during this potentially confusing bit.
Okay, interesting dynamic there. Also on the 13th, transformation kicks back into gear in your social sphere. As Pluto turns direct in Aquarius, your 11th house of groups and networks.
Yes, this particular transformation train is back on the rails. You're empowered now to pursue those long-term goals with allies. But first, you might need to purge some toxic dynamics.
Awesome.
It could be time to strategically leave draining online communities, perhaps, or fully commit to new groups that truly align with your highest aspirations and goals.
And since Pluto rules the 8th house, the money house we talked about this network transformation probably helps hone your overall financial goals too. Precisely. The right allies can become instrumental in achieving those big financial goals. Then, just a few days later, on the 16th, we get another little reminder about maybe over-juggling things. The Sun in Libra squares Jupiter in Cancer.
Okay, so that challenge between partnerships and expansion at home flares up again.
Exactly. It amplifies the risk of just taking on way too much. It's that conflict again between your personal ego or your partner's needs versus the growth and maybe demands happening at home.
So seek moderation for growth. Ask yourself how your foundation, literally or emotionally, is handling big shifts, like moving or major family changes. Avoid overwhelming things.
Yes, don't overwhelm your foundations. That's key.
Now we head into the final stretch, which sounds like a high intensity close to the month. Starting around October 20th with that really powerful Mercury-Mars conjunction in Scorpio, deep in the 8th house.
This is peak intensity, mentally speaking, especially around intimacy and shared finances. The thoughts are incredibly probing, which is great for strategic deep dives, but this energy also warns of impulsive arguments. Especially watch out with siblings or neighbors, perhaps. And fierce communications online are also a risk.
And given that Mercury is still in its pre-shadow then, we really need strategic application here, not just reacting. What are the key planning items to focus on?
This is a really critical few days. Make absolutely sure all your vehicle and travel insurance documents are completely in order. Be meticulous with tax documents, insurance matters, any logistics related to spousal or child support.
Right?
Because issues that pop up now could really escalate in November during the actual retrograde. Channel those probing thoughts into strategic planning, and seriously, watch what you say online or at work. Communications can be fierce.
Got it. Be prepared. Be strategic.
Huh.
Okay, right after that intensity, October 21st seems to offer a clean slate with the new moon in Libra, back in your 7th house of relationships.
Yes, this is actually a beautiful opportunity for a fresh start in committed one-on-one connections. It's perfect for setting intentions for new relationships, romantic or business, maybe finding a therapist or attracting supportive clients.
And there's a healing component too.
A strong one. This new moon opposes Chiron in Aries, suggesting that new partners or clients are specifically drawn in now, perhaps, to help you manage past pain, work on self-love, or deal with feelings of isolation. It's actually very fortuitous for bringing in supportive relationships.
Okay, that's hopeful. Then on the 22nd, we get another really profound energy shift. Neptune retrogrades back into Pisces, moving out of Aries for a little while. And combined with Saturn already in the 12th house, the forecast calls this a cocoon period. What does that mean?
It's basically your signal to step back, turn inward. This period encourages spiritual introspection, solitude, relying on your intuition. It's like identity changes are being prepared quietly backstage, getting ready for 2026 when Neptune moves back into Aries properly.
So lean into quiet practices.
Definitely. Encourage a solid meditation practice, spiritual activities, maybe compassionately helping others, quiet contemplation.
Are there any warnings for this cocoon phase, though? Sounds peaceful, but maybe potentially escapist.
That's the potential downside. Be careful to avoid self-undoing patterns like overindulging, oversleeping, just checking out. You'll also likely be more prone to absorbing collective anxiety or sort of emotional debris from the world around you.
Okay, psychic sponge alert.
A bit, yeah. So use energetic clearing tools, salt baths, mindfulness, whatever works for you. On the upside, though, expect a significant uptick in your intuition and some really powerful, vivid dreams during this time. Pay attention to them.
Interesting. Also on the 22nd, the sun moves into Scorpio too. So it becomes a full-blown 8th house party with the sun, Mercury, and Mars all hanging out there.
Exactly. It's a massive period of self-transformation. It illuminates power dynamics, boosts vitality in intimate matters. The potential for deep rebirth here is immense. However...
There's always a however.
Well, the sun will square Pluto shortly after entering Scorpio. This demands that you dig deep, face fears, and figure out exactly what must be released, what baggage needs to go so you can actually achieve your long-term dreams. You really have to choose empowerment over fear here.
Choose empowerment. Got it. And finally, October closes with Mercury moving into Sagittarius on the 29th, shifting into your 9th house of philosophy. travel, higher learning.
Right. The drive to travel, take courses, explore new philosophies, different cultures, it gets strong. You might feel intellectually adventurous.
But Mercury's still in shadow, isn't it? And it immediately opposes erratic Uranus.
Correct, on both counts. And this is where we revisit that travel warning, unfortunately.
Ah, okay, so plans could change suddenly.
Yes, travel plans might go sideways unexpectedly. If you were booking travel, it really was best done before Mercury entered its pre-shadow phase earlier in the month. If not, double-check everything.
Okay.
The opposition to Uranus can spark brilliant, innovative insights, but it also warns of erratic debates. Miscommunications are possible, maybe with people from different backgrounds, lawyers, teachers, even just heated debates about world events with colleagues or neighbors. Stay flexible, stay grounded.
Flexible and grounded. Good advice for Mercury's shadow. Okay, that brings us nicely to our astrological toolkit, giving you the best days to strategically plan your major actions this month.
All right, let's lay them out. Your best love days for fostering connection and romance look like October 4th, then the 14th through the 16th, the 20th, and the 27th.
Okay.
For general opportunities and easier star dates when things might just flow a bit more easily, look to the 1st, the 11th, the 19th, 20th, 27th, and those last few days, the 29th through the 31st.
And what about career or money specifically?
For making career headway, the period from the 14th through the 30th looks generally promising. And for targeted money days, like making financial decisions or taking action, mark your calendars for October 8th and 9th.
And the flip side, the days to be maybe a bit more cautious.
Yes, your challenging days where tension and potential friction might be higher look like October 9th, the 13th, and the 27th. Just practice extra awareness, self-care, and grounding on those particular dates.
Okay, super helpful. So to try and summarize this incredibly intensive month, October for Aries is really a necessary deep dive. It's about transformation, shared resources, profound self-healing. Strategy, clarity in communication, and setting healthy boundaries seem absolutely paramount.
That sums it up well. The core message is really about rebirth. You're building new, sustainable, truly authentic foundations in your most committed connections. Romantic, business, whatever they are. And at the same time, your self-image is undergoing this powerful, necessary reevaluation.
So as you enter this really intensive period, maybe keep that cocoon period that starts later in the month, initiated by Neptune's shift. Keep that in mind. This isn't passive waiting. It sounds like active introspection. So maybe ask yourself, what outdated fear or what foundational belief are you consciously clearing out now, perhaps in solitude and quiet, to prepare for that powerful, inevitable butterfly emergence that awaits you next year? Embrace that quiet, deep clearing work.